Hello and happy Tuesday, Sipsters. Welcome back to the Sippin' on Stories podcast with me, Mandy Corey, your host. I'm so delighted that you're here today. For our episode today, we have Jessica, who is a local influencer here in Idaho, like where I live. And she came on to just kind of talk about what that experience has been like for her, why she kind of got started doing it, and just what that process has looked like. So it was an interesting conversation for me specifically because I'm definitely not an influencer, but I am putting myself out there. I'm making some form of content that I'm hoping people will tune in and interact with, and so I could just resonate with her and some of the things that she was saying. So here's Jessica, Idaho's influencer. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Okay, how are you doing?
Good. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what I'm talking about. So
I know. Every single person. Oh, that's not true. There have been a couple that haven't been nervous, but almost every person's like, "I'm nervous." I'm like,
good.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. It makes me nervous for sure.
Oh, it was, now that I'm almost 40 episodes, and well, more at this point is how many I've recorded, but at this point it's like, I'm used to hearing my voice. Yeah. I'm very used to it at the beginning, but it was like every single time I'd be like, yeah. I don't know. It was stressful at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at least with what I do, I can edit things, and I don't know. It seems like with podcasts, you just kind of go for it. So
yeah. No, there's some I definitely have to edit a lot more than others, but like some, like you have what you have. Like you can't manipulate it any further than what it is. So if it like the audio's bad or whatever, you just kind of have to be like, well, it is what it is.
That's true. That's kind of scary.
So, but no, it's normally fine. And anyway, there's not been one that I haven't put out there. So they've all been good enough, I feel like, for that. So
good. That's good. Yeah. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah. We have Jessica with us on the podcast today. Jessica, what is your favorite drink? You have a drink with you now.
I do. It is like 8:30 at night, and I'm drinking my Diet Coke from Pick Me Up.
Just plain?
I did see that you had on Amy. She's the best.
She is the best. That was a really fun episode. Is your Diet Coke just plain Diet Coke, nothing else?
It's not. It's Diet Coke with raspberry and vanilla cream. My sister says it tastes like cough syrup, but I love it. I drink it every day. It's really good.
I'm like, I think at the beginning there was a time that at first I was like, ooh, it's a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. But the more I just drank it, the easier it got, and now it's just delicious. So
for sure. I'm one that hyper fixates on drinks, so like for a long time I was doing like Diet Mountain Dew with raspberry and mango. And then once I switched, it's like that's all I drink for like a year or two, and then I switch again.
Yeah. I hyperfixate on a lot of things. Like I have my hyperfixation breakfast and my hyperfixation lunches, and same. I'm like, I like what I like, and I just don't want to change. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, Jessica has kind of become a little influencer on Instagram. Mm-hmm. What's the term that you use? Like I
don't even know.
Because you support like a lot of the local businesses around here. And so I was like, I don't know how to, like, what word I would use for that.
Sure. But on my Instagram handle, I put Idaho's influencer, and like, it was a big leap for me to put that on my handle. Because at first it's like, oh, I'm just like here making content. And I think a lot of people like saying content creator, because influencer gets a lot of like a bad rap,
Yeah, it does.
But I just kind of decided to own it and do Idaho's influencer. So yeah, right now it's kind of Idaho Falls influencer, but a girl has dreams. So
of course. Yeah, Jessica has been a supporter from day one. She shared about the podcast from like the first week that I aired it, which was so kind.
Oh,
and
I love it.
You were the one that tagged Amy from Pick Me Up on my feed to get her to come on. So that was great too. So yeah, I appreciate your support, of course. I'm glad that you can come on.
Yes.
So Jessica, I want you to just tell us why you started your page and kind of what your dreams were of it. Was it always like to highlight businesses, or yeah, what were your hopes and dreams? What are your hopes and dreams? And just kind of walk us through what that process was like.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it kind of started because I just wanted something to do on the side. I have a full-time job, but
What is your job, by the way?
I do bookkeeping during the day. And I think sometimes I mean, it's fun. It keeps me on my toes, but sometimes it's pretty repetitive, you
Yeah.
know? So I just kind of needed something to like put my creative outlet into. And at first, I started doing Amazon reviews just because I thought it would be kind of fun to get like free stuff from brands.
Of course.
And who wouldn't like that, right? So I started doing that, and then I, I don't know, it kind of morphed into, I realized that I wanted to support more local because most of the brands that I was working with were not even in the United States, let alone in Idaho.
Yeah.
And I just really felt like I needed a page to support something that was more local. So I started doing more local things on Instagram. I want to say a couple years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I just started reaching out to local companies, seeing if I could highlight them. And that's what it's kind of grown into. It's kind of a mixture of just whatever it is that I'm thinking that day, or a mixture of maybe like a business highlight or just something random. But that's where I'm at right now.
Do you remember what the first business was that you reached out to?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. It probably was Pick Me Up.
Uh-huh.
That was definitely like the first um, major brand deal that I got, was being a Pick Me Up rep. I was really excited when I was a rep for them because they chose, just a handful from each location, and I didn't have a huge following at the time. And I really attribute a lot of what I've done to Pick Me Up because it really got me out of my comfort zone. A lot of their brand reps will post 3 or 4 times a month in exchange, for some free sodas and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I got started. And it's definitely like a major favorite of mine still.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can be a brand rep again in the future.
Oh,
They
are you
redo
not a
it
band rep
every
right
year.
now? Oh, they do.
I am, yeah, but they redo it every year. So I'll apply for 2026 and see what happens.
Yeah, I just saw that they posted
Yes.
their applications. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Super
that
fun.
okay. So I feel like I kind of watched you from the beginning
Yeah. That's so
grow,
sweet. Yeah.
and I feel like you grew pretty quickly. At
Yeah.
least in my eyes, maybe didn't feel that way for you. I don't
No,
know.
it felt that way for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you feel like was working for you to do that?
Yeah. I think for me, I just kind of hit almost like a gold mine, it felt like, because there isn't a ton of influencers in Idaho in general.
Yeah.
And the more local you get, the less that happens. And for sure, I've met some great, content creators and influencers in this area since then. But I think just because of how few people there are focused on this, I it was very like niche down. A lot of people say niched, but I don't know, niche down.
I feel like
And
niche down. So,
yeah,
I
I
feel like
don't
that
really
sounds
know how
right.
to say
I
it.
don't know.
I was really focused, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think the more focused that I became on just local businesses, the more opportunities came for me to grow because it was very targeted.
Mm-hmm.
And that, along with that, is I was doing a lot of giveaways at the beginning, and it just kind of got like a train of people, bringing attention to my page and to the businesses' pages. That's kind of the third thing too, is every time I partnered with the business, I would get, some of their clientele that would follow me and some of their reach that would see my videos. So it was just kind of like a mixture of all the things. And of course, like, a lot of people were so kind and still are and are very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was why it really kind of, I was able to grow so quickly, because of just the people that are I'm like targeting and the people that are supporting.
Where would you say, so when you do these giveaways, were you
Yeah.
paying for the things yourself or were they giving you items to give away?
um,
Or a
Kind of
mixture of
both.
both? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of the times, like if I was partnering with a business, they have been very generous, and a lot of businesses would donate. But if it was just something that I was doing for myself and just like on a whim, when I would reach like a followers goal or something, I would get a few things and do
Mm-hmm.
a giveaway that way. But for sure, a lot of the businesses that I've partnered with have been very generous with giving things away, like a spa treatment, a facial,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So
And you did have a few videos, I feel like, go kind of viral, right?
I don't know what viral is considered, but I'm shocked because I still have a couple videos that get like attention
Yeah.
daily. It's kind of weird, but
I'm trying to think of, I know there was like the ice cream cone one up at
yeah,
Silverwood, which I
yeah,
was like,
you're awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a short little video that like let's just be honest here. I was at Silverwood and I was ordering like an ice cream cone, and it started like off kind of small and then it was like getting bigger and bigger, and I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta film this. And it wasn't something that I was like planning on filming or anything,
Yeah.
but it was just like kind of funny in the moment. And then that's why I'm saying it's just crazy how things happen, because some things just take off when you don't expect them to, and it's always when you least expect them to.
Yeah.
The other video that I still get like likes and views from is like a silly little clown video that
Oh,
like
oh yeah.
I honestly was not even planning on like posting that. It was just like something in my camera roll. I was having fun with my family, and a lot of people just thought it was funny, I guess. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like it's just so random what pops off sometimes.
Yeah. Would you say, okay, I'm also curious, have you ever gotten like paid through any of these things, or have they all kind of just been collaborations and
Yeah.
just showcasing different businesses?
Yeah, I have. It wasn't up until, a year or a year and a half in that I was like, okay, I think I might start charging.
Mm-hmm.
But like, really, I don't think that's, unheard of for people, especially who are content creators, to like charge for what they're doing. And I didn't really know that until I started getting further and further in that, content creators actually charge a good amount sometimes. But along with that, I've always tried to be pretty transparent with the people I'm working with, especially being local.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to put anyone out, and I feel like I started the account with the mindset of supporting local, and I want to maintain that. So, if there's small business that's trying to take off, I don't want to be like, oh, here's my bill. I
Yeah.
try and work with people where they're at. And sometimes I just exchange for their products or services, and I'm really happy with that. Um, it just kind of depends on the situation. But yeah, I've gotten to the point where I can start charging for my content, and it's been really great. It's been awesome.
How have you been able to figure out like what you charge? Did you like ask ChatGPT or like, how did you figure that
Literally,
out?
yes. I use AI way too much.
There's
I
nothing
ask
wrong with
AI
that.
all my questions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there are actually a few people who have like made guides on how to get paid as a content creator, and there are some people who sorry,
That's okay.
who are kind of public on what it is that they charge. And so I was able to base what my pay should be based on what they were saying, but it
Mm-hmm.
still is definitely like a sliding scale. Like it still really depends on what it is that I'm doing and what the business can afford. So I don't know. I'm still learning the ropes on that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the businesses are really good at, like some of the bigger businesses that I'm an ambassador for will have a discount code, and usually the ambassadors will get paid a kickback if you use the discount code.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I know when you had initially said like you would come on the podcast, you had talked about like what you said was the fear of putting myself out there and
Yeah.
putting myself online.
Yeah.
So, what has that been like? Because I know for me, it took me a long time to
Yeah.
finally put this podcast out because it is very scary. You have to be like, well, I know people are going to watch this. They might judge me. They might not listen to me. They might not support me. Like, this could be embarrassing,
Oh
cringy,
yeah.
all the things,
Oh,
you
for
know?
sure. Yes.
And so, how long did
Yeah.
it take for you to get over those hurdles, or what was that like as you continued to go on?
I'm definitely still not over those hurdles. I I think like part of me has learned that it's just not that deep and not that serious. Even if other people act like it is. I don't know. I think that's the tricky part of all of this is I saw something that I wanted to do, and, as far as filming myself and maybe editing and creating and coming up with the content, I'm comfortable with all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's the scariest part when you hit like the post button or
Yeah.
or submit or whatever it is, um and then you just don't know what people's feedback is going to be like, whether it's silence or whether people, really don't like what you're doing. I've gotten, plenty of hate comments, and sometimes that's like, you know, discouraging, but I think I've learned along the way that it really only matters what I think. And if I like what I'm posting out there, then that's okay. And I don't have to please everyone. I'm definitely a
Mm-hmm.
people pleaser, and so I think that's the battle with posting online is you really can't please everyone. But you can do your best in putting out there things that you believe in and things that you support. And for like instance, like me, I'm trying to support local businesses for what I can, and that's the most that you can do. And just kind of make the most of it for sure.
You had said you've gotten some like hate comment. I remember you had a giveaway and that like went kind of sour a little bit too. Like people were
Yeah,
so upset, right?
yeah,
Okay, like
yes,
what other kind of like hate has there been? I'm so surprised because I'm like nothing you are doing is negative. There's always going to be negativity for some reason. But I'm like what
yeah,
kinds of things are people getting upset about?
yeah, for sure. And like, I think the more confident and comfortable I've gotten online, the more hate, I guess you could say, has come my way just because I kind of have a dry humor, kind of sarcastic humor sometimes, and not a lot of people like that, and that doesn't really always read through social media very well.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I did start with like the first negative thing that happened was when I was doing concert ticket giveaway. I won these concert tickets from a brand and I wasn't able to go. And so I did a giveaway for it. And when people didn't win, they were so mad, which is so silly because it's like there really is only one winner. I could have only ever picked one winner. And it was totally like honest and generated and done through a software and like the most that I could do to be fair, and people were still so upset about it. And it kind of was like, geez, like, is it worth it for me to do a giveaway if I make one person really happy and 15,000 people really upset?
Yeah.
you
Which I'm
know
like, obviously you can be sad that you don't win. I
yeah,
get sad every time I don't win a giveaway that has like
yeah,
millions of entries. But I'm like,
right,
I'm not
right,
gonna get mad about it. It's just the reality of the
exactly.
situation.
Yeah,
Has
and I think that is the thing is like I had to realize, okay, well, most people probably aren't like that mad. I'm just seeing a few comments of people like getting upset that they didn't win. So,
mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm still in touch with the girl who won, and she's doing great. She's living life and it's kind of
I had a
fun to
great time
see
at
her.
the concert.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. I think the other things that I've seen are just when I start getting more like kind of like what I said, more of my dry humor out there, more
Mm-hmm.
sarcasm, kind of poke fun a little bit at things. Sometimes I just post things for fun, and people don't get the joke sometimes and, just put things out there, but I'm okay with it. Every comment kind of just boosts the video a little bit more, and
Yep.
that's kind of how I have to look at it sometimes.
Have there been any moments that you've wanted to stop doing it or like
Yeah.
taken a step back?
Yeah, for sure. Is honestly the past like few months. I was working really, really hard to get to like 50,000 followers this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of starting to get close around August. And that's when I set a date for myself, and I was like, okay, I'm going to reach it. And I was like, doing these giveaways and really pushing and
Yeah,
trying
you were pushing
to,
hard. Yeah.
trying to like be really honest with people too and say, hey, this is my goal. And I think
which is scary to say a goal.
Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily regret it, but it was definitely was a bit of an ego blow when I was like, okay, I didn't make it, I'm not gonna make it, and that's just the way it is. Like, maybe one day.
Yeah. No, I kind of get that. Like mine, I mean, I feel like it's a lot smaller, less of a obviously audience scale, but I had like posted, oh, like I want some Christmas stories. Like I know everyone has like a small Christmas memory that you want to share.
Yes.
And then nobody said anything. And I'm like, okay. And it's just like, I put this out there. Like, I'm probably not going to have an episode for that. Like, I won't have an episode because I put it out there that this is what I want it to be. But like, I'm not going to have anything at this point, And it's just like, it's so scary to put things out there knowing that like people are also going to see when you don't do those things, And it's embarrassing, but it's also like, okay, am I beating myself up, or am I just saying like, okay, but no, like there is an extra level of vulnerability when you put out something that you want and you don't reach it,
Yes, absolutely. That's how I was feeling. I kind of like, set that goal and when it didn't like necessarily happen the way that I wanted it to in the time frame that I was wanting it to, I was just like, well, I think I give up.
Yeah, I don't blame you for feeling that way. Yeah.
But I think like since then I've come around to it, and I'm like, who really cares about like what number specifically it is that I'm at, or how many views something gets or whatever. As long as I'm happy about what's being posted, as long as I'm still having fun and enjoying myself and it's still something positive, then it's worth it, and since then, I've done a better job at trying to like pace myself a little bit. I definitely had a lot of burnout after that, and that's something that I learned from. I gotta, especially since I'm working a full-time job, I gotta like pace myself and, do things on my own time, and I think that's okay too.
Yeah. Were your hopes with this page kind of like you wanted to replace a job, or was it more like I want a creative outlet type of thing?
Yeah, I don't think I wanted it to replace my job. Mostly just because I work with my husband, I work with family, and it's a really good place for me. But it was just something that I was able to do outside of work. My husband travels sometimes for work, and so we don't have any kids, and I'm just like, sometimes home alone and not sure what to do. So it really did give me like a creative outlet, something that I could work towards, that I still felt like was doing good and was still productive.
Yeah. What have you seen as far as like the like local influencers or even like businesses? Like what kind of community have you found in the people that you've gotten to meet throughout this?
Oh my word, I met like so many people that I would have never met, which is so fun, and so many businesses I found that I would have never known about too. I think every single person is just trying to, make it. They're trying to live their dreams, and a lot of that these days involves social media. Whether or not people, really like social media, it is kind of like a necessary evil to them sometimes.
Yeah, I know, it's true.
So it's been fun to meet a lot of people where, maybe this isn't their strong suit, but I can sit down with them for a couple hours and talk to them about my recommendations or tips and maybe a vision on a collaboration and take it from there, hopefully kind of inspire them. But I have definitely met like a lot of influencers and content creators that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. I mean, maybe I've come across them on social media a few times, but Pick Me Up has a lot of brand reps. I've seen a lot of people just, from certain events over at like Neaters and Poppy and Pow and different places around town that I really wouldn't have known otherwise. So it has been really fun. A lot of varying types of people, a lot of different types of business owners and content creators, old and young, and all of that. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. I'm trying to remember. Actually don't think that this was on the episode. I talked to Amy after the Pick Me Up episode just about like, yeah, finding this community of like kind of women business owners, influencers, like that realm of people, and how it's just like so different, but also like a kind of fun little community that you get to find yourself in. And I feel like the influencer world in general would probably be just, yeah, like a fun little community that only you really get to understand what it's like,
Yeah, it is so fun. And like, I don't know, it's just, I'm sure it's different in other states or maybe other communities, but it is so fun to go to events and like see similar people at different events and just like reconnect with them and make friends that I honestly like. I'm a social person. I have a bubbly personality, but I don't like meet a lot of people because, outside of work, it's like, how do you meet people? Yeah. So it has been fun to meet a lot of friends that way. Yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that, but yeah.
Oh, no. And has the creative side been easy for you?
Yes and no. It is. It's something about when it becomes a job. It just like when you have to do it, sometimes it makes it so much harder to create content. I when I'm there doing it and filming, I can see a vision and I love it and it's so fun. When it comes to editing, it is a lot more work than I would have ever thought, and
I don't even do anything crazy.
For like a 30-second video, it can take like 3 hours sometimes, it's just, it's a lot of work. So, sometimes that kind of like will drain me sometimes, but every time I meet someone new or work with a business or even just as I'm driving around and I like see something, I just like makes me think, oh, that would be a really fun video, or like something weird happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be hilarious to post that, kind of like the clown video or the ice cream video that I've posted to my page. It's like these little life moments that would normally just be like for myself, but it's so fun to connect with other people online and to realize that sometimes your experience, other people have lived something similar or they can enjoy it just as much as you did. So I don't know, kind of something special there for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I know you've like kind of taken a step back the last little bit after you didn't reach the goal that you were wanting.
Yeah.
What is kind of your like goals now, I guess? Like, do you have any goals, or are you just like kind of wanting to just like step your feet back in, or what are your plans now with your page?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've been reflecting on a lot, especially with the new year. It's kind of something that everyone's naturally drawn to is, what are my goals this upcoming year?
That is true.
And especially with like where I've been just so fluid the past couple of years with my online presence, it is kind of a time to think, well, where do I want to go with this? My job is, my full-time job is probably going to get even busier, and I got to figure out how this plays into my life. But I think I still want to support local. I think that's always been, something that I feel pretty passionately about. So I definitely want to keep it going, but I want to find some kind of balance where it's consistent, but
It's
I'm
not
able
consuming.
to, yes, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like getting burnout, you know? It's something where it's still a creative outlet instead of a second job or something like that, which I know that I'm blessed to have that. A lot of people, this is like either their full time job or they have a job where they can't do content creation and they want to. So I know I'm in a unique situation that I'm very blessed to be in. I just got to figure out the balance between it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah. Well, I think this is just an interesting conversation to have because nowadays actually my husband, he's not on Instagram. He has a Facebook, but most people are in the social media world. Obviously, we're consuming a lot of content
Yeah.
creators and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just think a lot of times it's like, oh, they do it so easily. But it's like,
Yeah.
no, the reality is like there's a lot of hard work behind it and there's a lot of like fear of putting yourself out there and just the
Yeah.
journey through all of it. I think is just really interesting to talk about and
Yeah.
hear about from other people, especially I mean, I think a lot of people think of like, oh, what would it be like to have that be, my dream or a hobby or, whatever it may be. And so I think it's a
Yeah.
fun conversation and a good thing
Yeah.
to talk about. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
talking with me about it.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is something that again, I feel just like really blessed to have a platform that I can do something with.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you kind of appreciate the people who are positive, who comment, who support you. Yeah, it is something that you don't really realize how much work goes into it until you do it. But I'm sure you feel, the same way. It feels that much sweeter when you have people who support you, when you have people who show up for you and encourage you along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're so right. I'm again, my like, I'm like, I don't want to say my following because
No,
that makes it
it
sound like
is.
I've got one, but it's just like every time someone actually like has a nice comment or likes
Yeah.
anything that I post or reaches out to me and tells me what they thought about an episode or like anything. It's just
Yeah.
like the gratitude is so strong and it just makes you feel like so loved and supported by the people that are
Yeah.
like in your circle, and yeah, it's just a really amazing thing. Ignore the people that say the negative the negative
Yes.
things, but yeah, it
Yeah.
is sweet the people that are actually like in your corner and support you and people that don't even know you. Sometimes it's like, oh,
Yes.
like that is yeah, that's fun. So,
Yeah, sometimes the biggest supporters are the people who are total strangers,
yep.
and
Yeah, I've
I
got
just
some of
love
those.
those
Yeah.
people so
Mhm.
much. I think, yeah, hopefully, if there's anything that anyone gets from this episode, I guess, is that I think, like, even online, what you do matters, especially
Mhm.
your support. Like, that goes a long, long ways. I don't think a lot of people realize how much, even just a comment, not only for the creator, but for people who are scrolling on social media and seeing those things, like, we can just make it a more uplifting place. And the people that do that are appreciated.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, thanks for coming on. This
Thank
has been
you.
fun. I feel like it's
Yes,
been a long time coming.
I
So,
know.
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Jessica.
Bye.
I know I've mentioned like a couple times in episodes as of late, just that doing the podcast can be a little bit difficult sometimes, a little challenging, a little overwhelming, a little emotional, and it can play with your emotions a little bit. I mean, that's what it means by a little emotional, I guess. And you kind of start wondering why you're doing it sometimes, wondering if you're making an impact, if you're just wasting your time, all the time that you're spending doing this. And so I thought that while I may not have a lot of listeners that are in Southeast Idaho, Idaho in general, I still felt like this was a conversation that can resonate with other people, just that have something that they are trying to do, where it involves like putting themselves out there and in kind of like a vulnerable or scary way, such as this podcast, or, really whatever it is you're trying to do. It doesn't matter if you're trying to create a podcast like myself or be on social media and be more like an influencer like Jessica. It can be like trying to start your own business in your town, or even like going out of your way to make a new friend, or there are just so many things that we as humans do that involves us taking chances, putting ourselves out there, and sometimes like acknowledging goals that we have, and then people watching you completing or not completing those goals. And it can be scary. Just in general, being a human is scary. It does not matter if you are 5 years old or 35 years old, it is just scary to put yourself out there. But good things can come to you when you do that, even if you're not reaching the goals that you are wanting. Good things are still happening. You're stretching yourself, you're learning, you're improving. And sometimes you do actually reach your goals too. And like with this conversation with Jessica, although she did not reach her follower goal that she was hoping for, I watched her try and do that. And I thought it was really cool putting herself out there and working so hard. And you cannot discount all of the wonderful things and hard work that she was doing to get there. So she really is a hype woman. I know I mentioned this in the episode, but when I very first launched this podcast almost a year ago, she was one of the very first people to share about it. And she came on she came onto social media and said, if you go follow my podcast and like comment a little soda emoji, I'll send out some soda cards. And that was just so nice. And she's the one that tagged Amy from Pick Me Up Drinks in my reel asking for people to come on the podcast. And so she's the one that got her there. And that was such a fun conversation, one of my favorite episodes. So, she is just a hype woman, not just for me, but for a lot of people around us. And so, again, I feel like we could just learn a lot from her no matter what it is you're doing, even if you're not from Southeast Idaho. I thought it could resonate with some people. And I will say, I recorded this, it was before Christmas. Yeah, it was before Christmas because I had talked about wanting to have the Christmas memories episode. And we were talking about like putting yourself out there and watching people like see you not reach your goal. Because I had said that, oh, I put out there, I want these Christmas memories. And then like nobody said anything. And I will just say an update on that part of the podcast, because obviously it's been a long time since then. I did get people that wrote in Christmas memories, as you know, if you listened to that episode. So you guys did come through. I did not fail in that. Even if nobody would have answered, I still wouldn't have failed. I was still doing something, trying to put myself out there. It's not failing, but you guys pulled through and gave me some awesome Christmas memories. So I really loved that. And because of that, I asked you if you wanted to do more submission episodes, and if you did, what you would want those submission episodes to be. And someone came on and said, I always love a good near-death experience. So I went with that and I asked for some submissions, and I did get some. So normally I don't let you know what the next week's episode is going to be about, but I will say next week is going to be the listener submission episodes for the near-death experience. So be ready and excited for that. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be on the podcast, please reach out to me. I would love it. We're almost to a year and I really want to get to that year so bad. So reach out to me if you've got a story that you are just, dying to tell in an episode. And if you'd like to be on the podcast, you can find me on Instagram at Sippin' on Stories Podcast. You can email me, sippinonstoriespodcast@gmail.com. You can send me a DM if you know me personally. Just send me a message and I would love to have you on the podcast. Love you guys. Thanks so much for listening and being here. See you next week. Bye, Sipsters.